Welcome to the Stay Paid podcast, where we help agents and entrepreneurs master the latest business trends to unlock growth and create a life of freedom. Brought to you by ReminderMedia.
Welcome to Stay Paid. My name is Joshua Stike.
And I'm Luke Acree.
And we are joined once again with Stephen Acree.
Yeah, basically co-host now.
Basically co-host. Come on,
Yep.
we can stop saying your credentials, right?
No, you got to say them.
We got to say the number one real estate team in Lynchburg, Virginia, and soon to be the world.
What are you guys in the state of Virginia?
Agent in Lynchburg as well. So not only team, but top three. This guy is.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I think we're 4 in Virginia right now. For on Real Trends.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Sweet, dude.
Soon to be number one
That's
on the
right.
planet.
Yeah, soon to be. Yeah, exactly. How many agents you guys have on your team?
14.
14 agents. Sweet. Love it. What is considered a large team? Is that considered a large team? It seems like it would be.
Yeah, it is considered a large team. So it's so funny when we've talked with other big teams or big realtors, they always share like, yeah, we got a big team. We've got 6 on our team.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, wow. So like 14 is pretty big. But I mean, you do have like large, like mega teams, I would say is what's like 20 or more.
Right.
Nice. Okay, awesome. Well, we're going to talk about growing on Instagram. Josh and I run a marketing company called ReminderMedia. For those who don't know, working over 100 different industries, worked with about 60,000 clients last year. We'll do a little bit more than that this year, probably. And so that is why we do this show. So let's get into the headline.
Here is the article of the week: How to grow on Instagram without having to post. Who would love that? Grow on Instagram without having to post. This was written by the broke agent.
Yeah, good old Eric.
Eric Simon on nowbam.com. The most effective way to grow on Instagram is without a doubt posting Instagram Reels. If you view your insights, it's the number one type of content that reaches non-followers, aka those people outside of your network who aren't following you yet. But there's a slept-on strategy that can help you grow and get more engagement without actually posting, and it's commenting. So we've got 5 tips here from this article on how to grow your Instagram simply through commenting. Have you tried specifically, like, how much do you comment when you're on Instagram?
I don't comment nearly
account?
as much as I should. I like and I respond to stories through the emojis and stuff like that. But I would agree with Eric. I was actually on his podcast called The Walkthrough, which is a great podcast people should check out. And it was interesting. One of the things that I have learned recently is, like, I almost encourage agents spend less time creating the reel and more time commenting, because Ariel, our social media manager, started doing that. And I don't know, Ethan, if you were a part of it or not, but it was massive for our engagement that we were getting, way more than all the effort we were putting into the actual content. So it's like, if you find yourself putting in a ton of effort into creating the reel, just take some of that effort and go, okay, I'm just going to, post, but I'm actually going to go comment the rest of the time on everybody else's post, and I think it will pay dividends for you.
Yeah. Well, the first strategy that he gives in this post is probably a lot of people have heard about. We talked about it here on the podcast before, the Gary V $80 strategy. So the idea here is you want to search 10 different hashtags that are within your niche, comment on 9 of the posts in each one of those hashtags, and give your 2 cents. Hence the 90 posts at 2 cents a piece is a $1.80 strategy. So that's the idea. One of the guests on their podcast, the Walkthrough you just mentioned, left a comment on a news account that got 15,000 likes and ended up getting 100 new followers just from getting a comment.
That's crazy.
Now, I tried this. I stuck with this for a little while. We didn't see a ton of success on Stay Paid, but I truly believe that it's twofold. One, it's the stick-to-itiveness, the actual discipline to continue, the consistency to continue doing it overnight,
stick-to-itiveness,
long term. And then I think the second one is you do have to be more creative with your comments. You actually have to give a take. You can't go in there and just type a fire emoji.
It's got to be authentic. I feel like that's all. I feel like Alex Ramose's whole thing right now is like, you've got to be actually real and provide value. Because like when people do emojis, like, do you actually look at those and like those when someone comments on a post? It's
probably like them just because you feel like you have to like them, but if it's your post, but not really like it elicits no response or reaction from me when I see someone.
And no one else is engaging, just you as the person that did the post. I feel like Ricky Carew, that's who we need to get on, because he does that super well. And every time he engages with my comments on his stuff, I always see his stuff more. It's kind of weird.
But that's because the algorithm is doing that. You've engaged, and so he's engaged back, so the algorithm is pushing it, which is the whole main point of doing the comments. Point number 2 in the article was asking questions in the comments. So that's like a nice hack of going, hey, look, when you go engage with these people, is there a post that you can ask a question on? To where you can naturally solicit responses, not just from that actual person who posted it, but even the other people reading the comment, which I think is great.
Yeah, I think it's so good. There's a forum on Facebook of like living in Lynchburg. It's like the community, and people love to give their 2 cents about what's going on. So you see a question in there, and there are just so many replies. Like it's so engaged because the amount of like opinions that are in there about what's going on in the city or this restaurant.
That
or
is
whatever.
a great hack for agents, and it doesn't matter if you're real estate, insurance, or whatever, is finding that Instagram for your local town or Facebook page for your local town, because you want to be known in your local area. And so commenting on all of their posts is 100% worth it.
Yeah.
And asking questions.
Yeah.
It's 100%.
One of the examples I think Lindsay Joe gave in that article was if someone says like, I love this neighborhood on your post, like just simply reply, what do you like about it? Like you're literally just trying to get a conversation going in the comments. And we all know that if you see something that has like an opinionated post, you're going to the comments to see what everyone else thinks 100%. About it. So,
sometimes on especially the humor stuff, the comments are better than the actual post. Like the comedy in some of these comments is hilarious. That's
all that I look at on social media are the comments.
Really?
I just want to see other people's humor.
As soon as you see a video, you're like, oh, I can't wait to get to the comments.
And then the first comment is everybody's here for the comments.
Yeah, exactly.
Number 3 they have for the tip in this article is to use keywords in your comments. So the point here is like TikTok is already using the comments as a search engine, or there's actually SEO built into TikTok search algorithm that's looking at the content or the comments for keywords. People are thinking, I don't know that it's necessarily proven, but the idea is Instagram is either already there or headed that way because they're copying everything off of TikTok. So why wouldn't they copy that? So making sure that if you are posting about maybe your local area, or maybe it's a house that you're posting if you're a real estate agent, mentioning Lynchburg in the comments, mentioning open house, mentioning real estate actually in the comments, not just in the hashtag and in the captions.
Yeah, I think it's great. The problem is always with keywords is it takes a little bit of research. To know. So the way I more think about keywords is what you just said, which is like, what do you want to be known for, and seeing if you can fit that in versus trying to figure out what is actually trending. I mean, I guess you could go to the search bar and start typing in and see what pops up, just kind of like you do in Google. But honestly, it just comes down to what do you want to be known for? Realtor, Lynchburg, you want to pop up in those areas. So I think that's good. The other point was pinning comments. So I've seen this more and more. BAM does this really well.
Yeah.
Where they will pin your comment up there at the top. And that obviously solicits engagement. A lot of people are actually using the pinned comment as a way to link out or to, and I see this on Facebook a lot, more than Instagram, but it's like link out to the actual article or link out to more things.
Just to get one extra click.
Yeah, I think so. Post. Or engagement with that. Yeah. So they'll finish the caption in the first comment.
Yeah.
So things like that, and they'll pin the comment. So I've never done that, so I don't know if it actually increases your engagement or not. But I know BAM does it a lot, and obviously they'll
do it with the item of value, right? So they'll use like ManyChat. We've done this before on your account where it use ManyChat.
Yep.
And it's reply to the comment with the word as opposed to posting your own comment. And then you've got one comment that's getting a ton of engagement and replies on it. The last. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to ask, because I know, Luke, in your most recent videos, you gave like an action of saying like hit like send or, something.
Yeah, comment below, like comment the word referral or comment the word.
How does that work?
So that's a great point. So we did an episode with Lindsay Joe, who's obviously mentioned in this article. Mm-hmm. I don't know, Ethan, if you can look up what episode number that was, but it'd be worth it for everybody to go listen to it. But she, talked about using ManyChat, like Josh is saying, to automate the sending of a link through a DM. So you can basically set up ManyChat as an automation to look at your post in the comments to go, when this word is commented, send this person this information in their DM. So I will say, hey, if you want the remainder Like, I think I just posted one on email ideas for first-time home buyers, and it was 9 email ideas, but I gave them 5 in the actual reel, and then said, hey, if you want the other 4 email ideas, comment the word email below, and I'll send you the link to the article so you can see it. And a bunch of people commented email, and then mini chat in the background is obviously automated the sending of that link.
Yeah.
So
nice. And did you have any conversations from that too? Like more than that?
No real conversations. It'd be interesting. Let me pull that up and see how many. So it looks like there's 74 comments. Not all of them are email, but a lot of them are. There's 74 comments of email. There's also, our good old crypto buddies. Susan has changed my life for the better. I truly believe Susan now. It's like the new, what is it? The Prince of Arabia has left you an inheritance. It's like the crypto people commenting on you.
Crypto people are crazy.
You know where they crushed us? These spam comments is
Facebook
our reviews on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I freaking hate Facebook because if you listen to this, which you never will. But I'm going to get shadow banned now because I said I hate Facebook. But I freaking hate that they can censor freaking post for whatever, politics or whatever you want to say, but they can't stop these crypto people from spamming your comments.
They won't even remove your
It's ridiculous. It's literally, here's my theory. My theory is their stock price is driven by the number of users that they have, or just one of the metrics, because if the users are falling, then the headlines go, Facebook's not relevant anymore, people aren't paying attention to the platform. And I believe that the billions of users they have, hundreds of millions of those are bots, and they cannot clean up the bots because they would literally go from 2 billion users to 1.5 billion. I'm just making this up now. But they would go, and it would affect the stock price because it's the only thing that would go, it's not logical. It doesn't make any sense. Nobody wants these crypto spam things. They're easy to identify. You should, if you can censor content, you can easily do this technology-wise, but you're not doing it.
Right.
And you're not doing it because it goes back to the money. Follow the money, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. That's the clip, Ethan. Yeah. Luke's rant. That's a new segment, Luke's rant.
And Cody Sanchez, I was just reading it to Steven. She commented she got banned on Facebook, and it was a mistake. Yeah. Luckily, she knew someone higher up at Meta to take care of it.
It's crazy.
She said because there's so many it's an international company that are banning, finding these things that they make a lot of mistakes, and she got banned for no reason at all. So it's crazy, the process that they're even trying to do currently.
Yes.
All right, the last tip here is let people find your content organically. So this is actually more of a recommendation of what not to do. So if you are posting up, putting up an Instagram post and then texting maybe your coworkers, maybe your employees, maybe your friends to go comment on it, do not send them the link directly. You can let them know that you have a new post, but let them see it organically in your feed because Instagram will actually see that inauthentic engagement. Basically, we'll see people coming directly to the link and commenting, and you're
super
won't help
interesting
your content at all. Yep. Is kind of the idea there. So
yeah, you see a lot of people tag. I get this every so often, as people will tag me as well as like 30 other people in the actual post, and it's just a way to try to get engagement. Because when you're tagged in something, you feel obligated to give a reciprocity like.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Can you do it on Instagram? I know you can do it on Facebook. The highlight, of people.
What do you mean?
So Facebook has it to where you can just highlight a big group of people. So you just put highlight and it tags.
Oh, I don't know, but you can definitely tag a lot of people. I don't know how many, maybe 30, 35 people. How many people can you tag on Instagram, you think? Can you Google that?
Tag, yeah.
In a post or
in an actual post, like in a picture. I don't know if it's unlimited. I don't think it is.
I think that it is because I tried doing this one time where I made, it was actually an Ed Stulak idea, but I made like a heart with a bunch of different podcast guest names because we hit a certain, I think when we hit 6 on the charts. There you go, 20 people. I was just about to say, I thought it was around eventually when you add the 21st one, the first one goes away.
Oh, wow.
And it just keeps rotating through. At least that's how it used to work. So,
and speaking of 20, for the audience, if you're interested in Lindsay Joe's episode, it is 520.
520. There you go. Okay. So you got to go listen to that episode because she is crushing it with the mini chat and basically getting people to raise their hand for an item of value. And it's something you can use as a real estate agent, like if you have a first time home buyer's guide. and you go, hey, if you want access to my home buyer's guide, or if you want access to the most frequently asked questions that you should know as a new home buyer, just comment the word home buyer in my post and I'll send it to you. Like stuff like that.
It's really powerful, and it's not expensive.
Correct.
For people who don't understand what we're saying, ManyChat, M-A-N-Y chat, C-H-A-T.
It's a company.
Is a company. I always hear it as mini. So that's why I want to make sure.
How I heard it.
Everyone understands
like Minnie
chat.
Mouse.
All right, Luke, how about we get to the sales strategy of the week?
Sales strategy of the week. Okay, so this is a strategy that has really come up recently on a bunch of podcasts. And I think I want to give, was it Christopher credit? Benjamin, or how do you pronounce his last name?
Yes.
Josh doesn't know either. Ethan, look up how you
Chris Benjamin.
Benjamin. I knew it was a hard name to pronounce, but
Acree?
Yeah, Acree, exactly. Acree.
Acree.
But this guy's a stud, right? So you need to go check him out. He's a BAM contributor, but I think he was one of the ones that also said it, to give him credit. But it's essentially, you're looking for content as a real estate agent, let's say. And what do I post? And I was just coaching Noah on your team this week, and we were talking about his content strategy, and he was like, yeah, what do I post? And, I was giving him some pieces of advice. One piece of advice is he has two separate Instagrams. He has a personal Instagram and a business Instagram. And I said, actually, you want to merge that together. And real estate is one of the main industries you need to do that because it's a relationship-based business. And I said, the post that you have on your personal, I'm actually more interested in than the post you have in your business. So the only reason I would look at your business is never. I would only look at your personal, so if you merge them together. But I said, one of the things you can do content-wise, because he's not a natural Instagrammer like me, so you have to structure it. I said, you can do what's called the deal of the week. And so as you're looking at the market every single day as an agent, which you should be, to understand what's coming on, what's going off, what's the deal of the week that you can do a reel. If you have a broadcast channel, which is what Chris did, is you send it through your broadcast channel. You can actually send it as an email. Here's the deal of the week. And maybe it's not something you send to all of your bucket email list. It's your showing bucket or your warm people that goes, hey, here's the deal of the week in Lynchburg, Virginia. And then the way to do it is you do a green screen behind you. So you basically snap a picture of the MLS listing or the Zillow or whatever one you think is the most appealing visually. And you put it behind you as a green screen. You go, hey, guys, this is the deal of the week. This is located in Forest, Virginia. Here's the reason why I picked it as the deal of the week. It's this price. So you get to showcase market knowledge. You get to showcase, you understand what makes something a deal. You're raising your credibility. It's a piece of content. And for people in the showing bucket or the warm bucket are interested in real estate, they're going to be looking at that, especially investors too. Yeah. So that's the strategy deal of the week.
If you're not sure how to do a green screen, you can do it in Reels. You can do it in your story too, I believe.
Yes.
But when you create a new Reel in Instagram, at the bottom, you have all those filters. You can actually search those effects. You can search for green screen in that effect. And
well, Reels, like a Reel will have it right now, or at least it does on my Instagram. Like if I go,
because you used it recently.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like to your left.
Yeah, it literally puts it right there on the right screen.
After you've used it recently, it'll put it there.
Yeah.
Yeah, another one that I've seen with that too, like deal of the week, is you could do like article of the week. So you pull up an article that has to do with your industry or whatever, and you kind of highlight and talk about it, and just use a green screen to kind of point towards it.
Yeah, green screens are crushing it right now. And I don't know if it's because Instagram likes that feature and is trying to promote it, or if it's the content style is more authentic to what you're saying, Steven, earlier, of like, Alex Hormozi type idea of like, you got to be authentic. But for some reason, green screens are taking off for everybody, because I've done multiple posts with BAM, collaboration posts, and the ones that were carousels did not do well at all. The ones that were green screens did well.
Yeah, yeah, and it's all anecdotal, but like every time I see you doing the green screen, I think it has something to do with like the article that's in the back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I want to know who you're going off of, that you're like, who are you, Alex Hormozi, Ricky Carruth, like who you're actually talking about, because it gives like some authority as well, some additional authority to you. Yeah. So
I think there's this thing happening right now with content, human psychology. I think everybody is sick and tired of the influencers, of the thought leaders. I think there's just too many thought leaders. There's too many podcasts. And what I mean by that is it's just every time you get on Instagram, there's another talking head. And so I think the green screen, like you're saying, fights against that because you're commenting on somebody else, like you're saying. And so I think it fights against that psychological trend that's happening right now.
Yeah, and I see one of the things I see too that I don't like is a lot of times people will do the green screen in the article and they will cut who the article is from off. And it really actually, every time I see those ones, I pull back on watching them. It's interesting. I think it has to do with the authority behind it. So if it's like NAR and I see that article, I mean, I want to listen, you know what I mean? Because I don't know everything that's going on and I'm not reading enough.
That's a great point.
It's like they're going to give me an analysis on what's happening on the settlement, right? But if it's just an article and there's no authority behind it, I just don't want to take the time to listen to it. That's why I think like it is about being authentic. I really think it's just like value driven right now. It's like we're sick of the influencers, or at least I am. It's like you're sick of the influencers. You want, what's actually happening and you want it fast because we can't go out and read,
If you want to look at somebody who's crushing it with green screens, check out Jarrett James.
Yes,
the coach. He's
good.
Crushing it with green screens right now. He's crushing it in social in general.
Who's the other guy? I'll have to find him. But he kind of works with Jarrett James as well. Like they go off of each other a lot. But they were just talking about what was it in the West Coast, the MLS? Did you see that article?
I didn't see it, no.
Basically they're branching off, and I don't know everything about it, but they're branching off from what like the National Association of Realtors is doing. And so they're not agreeing with
that's
the
interesting
settlement. So yeah, it's a big news right now. Maybe we can go into that next podcast.
That's super interesting. Yeah, that's going to be wild.
I think we have time for a listener question.
Let's do a Q&A.
All right, this comes from Mo Quadri. So they had commented and said, fruitful conversation. I like this question. Could you suggest me books on how to increase my value? It's kind of a two-parter. So the first, you can kind of answer whichever one you want here, but could you suggest me books on how to increase my value and becoming a top employee? And then they also talk about, I want to skyrocket my earning capacity to achieve financial freedom faster in my early 20s. Is it good to be a generalist or a specialist in my job, which happens to be HVAC design in the construction industry? Or is it better to create your own business as a solo entrepreneur contractor, as my mission is only the money is what matters, not the situation? So better to go solo entrepreneur or become a specialist in your field. And then I don't know if you have any books.
Well, I don't know the HVAC industry extremely well, so you got to take this at a higher level of advice. If you were, my brother or my son that I was coaching, what I would tell you is 100% become a specialist. First years, get under somebody who has a business. So if HVAC's your business, go find the best HVAC person in this niche that's making $1 million a year. Get under them, even if you have to work for less money than what you want to work for at the time. Do it for 2 years and then branch out on your own and become a specialist, because specialists always outsell and are able to outmarket. And then ultimately, if the money is all that matters to you, the thing that you have to find out from the mentor that you go under is how much money they're making. So right. like don't be afraid to ask that question to the mentor. It's like, maybe they don't have to tell you exactly if they don't want to, but if they don't want to, then it tells you the level of mentor they're going to be. But at the end of the day, you at least need the range. Hey, are you at least making 7 figures? Doing this? How long did it take you to get to 7 figures? And don't be afraid, even if it's 5 years, you have to serve under them to really learn the trade. 5 years goes by in a blink of an eye, but most people cannot commit to something for even a day, let alone 5 years. So that's what I would look to be an employee, and I'll pass it to you guys to give your thoughts. To be a great employee or be a great team member, easiest book to read that you can read in an afternoon that will change your life powerful wise is 5 Dysfunctions of a Team, because it teaches you not only how to be a great team member, but it teaches you the psychology of relationships and how relationships are ultimately built off of trust, but you can't have trust without healthy conflict. Most people go up throughout their whole life without having any healthy conflict. And if you don't have the art form and ability to have a healthy conflict to be direct with people, you will not succeed.
Oh. Yeah, be relationship driven, not transactional. Because I think you mentioned in that question that he's like money driven. And so it's like you can be money driven, but the problem is if you're transactional, you'll never go through the hard shit. right? It's just like, it's so hard to understand how to be a specialist because it just takes a lot of failure and like a lot of repetition on that failure until you learn it. Like you can't just read a book and become a specialist. You know what I mean? You've got to get out in the field. So it's going to take some time, but if you are transactional, you'll never make it through those hard times because you'll be so focused on the money and you're going to fail. And if it was all about the money, then you're just not going to keep doing it. Right. So that would be my advice.
Yeah. The quote I read, I think it's actually Cody Sanchez said it. The quickest way to your first million is to be someone's number two.
Love
so
that.
Be that person that adds value, that does everything for it, learn a ton. And that's a way quicker way than doing it on your own. But then, like you said, in 5 years, then maybe do your own or go off on that end. But the quickest way to your million is by being someone's number two go-to.
And
that's
Cody,
so good.
You're my number one. So.
Oh, thank you.
There you go, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us again here on Stay Paid. And thank you all so much for listening. You can dive deeper this episode and get the show notes in the description, as well as head on over to staypaidpodcast.com, where you can get all of the links on how to subscribe and the show notes there as well. If you like this episode and want to show your support, go to Apple Podcasts or Spotify, drop us a 5-star review along with a comment. We'll make sure to read it here on the show. And this week's dad joke of the week: what do you call a deer with no eyes? No idea. For this episode, Stay Paid. I'm Joshua Stike.
Guys, I'm Luke Acree. Here's your action item. Do the deal of the week. It's a great post to do on your Instagram. Showcases your credibility and your knowledge of the local market, and also gives you a piece of content that you know you're going to do every single Friday or every single Monday. Take advantage of that. Remember, the difference between top producers and mediocre producers in every business is top producers take action. So take action on that today.